We begin news now this hour in Lagos State, where a dramatic turn of events saw ousted Speaker of the State Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, returning to the Assembly on Thursday for the first time since he was removed by his colleagues, insisting that he remains the legitimate Speaker. Obasa, who was removed as the Speaker of the Lagos Assembly on January 13 over allegations of financial impropriety and gross misconduct, arrived at the assembly complex around noon, accompanied by heavy armed security personnel. News Central's Bettina Imweli has more in this report.
The entrance of the Lagos State House of Assembly looks like a carnival as supporters of the ousted Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, celebrate his return. Speaking with News Central's correspondent, Obasa's supporters say he was unlawfully removed and should be reinstated.
What's happening here today is not a big deal. It's what we call political moral support. You will know that it's been like 2 months now. The Speaker was removed on the 13th of January, and since that time, he has not set his foot on this place. So this is the first time he's coming here. So we got wind of it, and we came here to support him.
I love what is going on here today. We are outside here. We don't know what is going on in there, but I can hear outside that Obasa will be sitting back as a Lagos State Speaker of Lagos Assembly. So I love that.
This unexpected move has plunged the Assembly into confusion, especially following the reported withdrawal of security details assigned to the current Speaker, Mojisola Meranda. The situation remains tense as both Obasa and Meranda claim the speakership. As at the time of filing this report, the Assembly is yet to release an official statement regarding the unfolding of events.
We won't take laws into our hands, just like I told the staffs that they should not take laws into their hands. But we all belong to different constituencies, and we have our mandate. And whatever has to happen, the leadership should speak with us, and not this charade that we are seeing. We are not against the leadership's decision, but they should call us and tell us to our face, and not us hearing rumors. We are not against leadership decisions. It is the leadership. They took us here. They are our leaders, and we still stand. They nominated us, and we still stand with their decisions. But not to do it this way. We were embarrassed. So thank you, gentlemen.
We hereby reject Obasa.
We reject Obasa.
As you rightly said, I'm here. So as I'm here, it simply means the house is on.
Well, sir, on social media, we have information flowing that you barged into this premises.
Confirm it now. If you had, you should.
We were trying to confirm from you. Can you tell us exactly?
So what are you implying? Are you saying that I broke it or I broke the door to get access? Is that what you are saying?
I don't know.
So I go and confirm now. If you have had, then confirm from your source. He will do what? Yeah. Allege. Will do what? Will prove.
So have you been reinstated? Are you back now?
I've told you repeatedly, I've never been removed. There's nothing like impeachment. So I don't know what you are saying. I've said this openly. Sir. That everybody, remove, what is it called? Impeachment or whatever, or removing is all democratic and constitutional. But in doing that, to achieve that, you must follow the due process.
Observers anticipate that the coming days will be crucial in determining the leadership and direction of the Lagos State House of Assembly. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Bettina Imweli.
Still on the Lagos House of Assembly drama, the Commissioner of Police, Lagos State Command, Moshood Jimoh, has confirmed that the security detail which was withdrawn from the Speaker of the State House of Assembly has been returned to her. This, according to the CP, was part of an ongoing audit of police personnel assigned to individuals across the country. While speaking to journalists, the commissioner also explained why the ousted Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, currently has security detail attached to him. The CP went further to assure Lagosians that the police had nothing to do with the drama witnessed at the State House of Assembly, stating that all is now calm.
As I speak with you, the audit of the police personnel attached to Honorable Mojisola Merenda has been completed, and the 4 armed police personnel attached to her from the Lagos State Police Command have been returned back to her for her protection. There was application from Honorable Mudashiru Obasa on threat to his life and that of his family in the last few days. And it was on the basis of that police personnel were approved to him for that purpose only. The Lagos State Police Command is not aware or in the know of how and when the office of the Speaker of Lagos State, Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly was broken into. The Lagos State Police Command is neutral in the whole episode and will continue to do so to ensure law and order and public safety and security throughout the length and breadth of Lagos State.
For more on the Lagos Assembly issue, I'm being joined by a political affairs analyst and publisher, Chris Kayode Madu. Of course, he has been following developments in the Lagos State Assembly, and he joins me from Lagos to share his thoughts on the crisis. Thank you so much, Mr. Madu, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
So I'm talking about this Lagos Assembly tussle and how we've seen the twists and turns. How would you capture the different angles to the story?
Well, in the case of the absolved, as far as I'm concerned, none of us ever believe that what is happening in Lagos State House of Assembly will ever happen. We hear this happening in other states of the Federation. The last being what happened in River State, but that this will happen in the city of aquatic splendor. It took a surprise to us, and most of us believe that. I've always believed that politically, Lagos State is one of the most politically matured, if I use that word, states in the country. So there are certain things that you expect to happen in other states that don't ever believe will happen in Lagos. But this is a trying time, and in politics, anything can happen. And so, my name is Chris Kayode, not Kayode, please. So let him correct that.
Okay, sorry about that.
To the issue, yes, to the issue at stake, the fact remains that, let us even go back. How did we get here? Some members of the State House of Assembly agreed to remove their speaker. And I think it was 36 out of the 40 members, that is the majority, that removed the speaker. And whether it was impeached or removed, whichever one is that they agreed. And I've been hearing a lot of things flying around. There is nowhere in the books and in the Constitution or in our law where a reason must be given by the State House of Assembly for removing their speaker. It is what is only stated is that 2/3 members of the State House of Assembly will vote to remove the speaker. Just that no reason will be given for the election of the speaker. It's just first among equal. So unlike that of the impeachment of the president, the vice president, the governors and deputy governors, that were specific on procedure. That of the speaker is the sole right of the members of that House of Assembly. And if they can meet that majority number, then they can take the decision without giving any reason. So this one that somebody said, oh, it was not followed. And it was not, there's nowhere in that book that it was explained explicitly that the speaker must be present when it's being removed. No. So, but as I said, what happened yesterday was the case of the absolved. And I believe those that are just advising the former speaker, they are not giving the best of advice, because a situation where you are speaking plenary with presiding over 4 members, that is unbelievable.
Now, he said,
what it is, and that is what we find us.
Yeah, so he said it was never removed. He said there is no impeachment. He accused the legislators of allegedly collecting 30 million naira to having been voted out. He walked into the assembly with a security detail without being accosted, without being apprehended, in a sane environment. How should that particular situation should it have been dealt with?
I was one of the editors that were invited by the Commissioner of Police yesterday for that press briefing. I was there, and I also asked him the same question. When the commissioner said that there was an auditing, and it was based on that auditing that the security details of the speaker, Mujola Miranda, was withdrawn. But in the same breath, while you are withdrawing that, you are adding more, you are giving the former speaker enough security agencies also to go with him. So which must have embodied him enough to be able to walk into the assembly and find himself into the. So although the Commissioner of Police came out, just as your reporter mentioned in the news, that the police is neutral. But the way it seems, it doesn't seem to be so, because most like perception is everything. If you are withdrawing out of the current speaker and you are giving more security to the other person just because of the fact that he said that his life was at stake. And I asked him, the security that was provided for Obasa, that was the specific question I asked. The security details that you provided for Obasa, is it for him as a speaker or as an individual? Because the security personnel attached to a speaker is not the same that is attached. You don't have the same number attached to a member of the House of Assembly. And I was telling the CP yesterday that we heard that they have so many policemen, almost about 10 or thereabouts. They say it was alleged, just as I said, it was alleged. But in all this, the fact remains that whatever, if this issue is not tackled properly and is not solved properly, it is going to affect so many things within Lagos State. The political situation in Lagos, the economic situation in Lagos. Can you imagine a state like Lagos not having a state House of Assembly for the governor of the executive to run with? That is what we find ourselves now, because they have adjust and die. That means that no date has been put. We don't even have a date when they are going to come back. How will we run the state? How will the government run the state like that without a legislative power? It is very absurd.
I'd like to find out, are we actually running a democracy in this country? Because the president has not said anything over this matter, and we have the leadership of the party, of course, in place that has equally not really said anything. And we have lawmakers in Lagos State who are saying that the leadership should come out plain and let them know which direction they should go. They seem confused.
I've said it time and time again, what we are running is not democracy. What we are running in Nigeria is civilian rule. And until we're able to stay within that ambit of democracy, then most of the things we are doing currently will not happen. On the issue of the president, I would just want to nail down that, because the president is not the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He is not he's no longer the quote-unquote the godfather of Lagos State politics. He has gone beyond, he has been elevated to the president of, so he oversees whatever. But you said you always say that, yes, Lagos is his base. And there's been so much rumor here and there that they have a hand in what is going on. Let us not forget the fact that the APC in Lagos State should be very, very careful. The president lost the 2023 presidential election in his state of Lagos. That election that was held in 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu lost in Lagos. He lost Lagos State to the candidate of the Labour Party. It was only the governorship that the APC won. So going into 2027, if a state like Lagos State is a APC, is at loggerhead within itself, and you're looking at about 36 legislators that are not within Iran, they are not in agreement with what is going on, then there's the big problem. So I hope that they'll be able to nip this in the court. That also asks, we also ask, what is the place of the governor as well in this? There are a lot of rumors going up, and I'm a journalist. I don't believe in the rest of the rumor. I want to believe in empirical facts, and I want to believe in facts. But there's also a fact that there is this very well-strained relationship between the governor and the ousted Speaker of the House, that is parading himself as the Speaker. All this, the political leaders in Lagos State must come together and be able to make sure that this issue is resolved as quickly as possible, so that governance can return to Lagos State. Anything that happens within Lagos State has a way of affecting every other part of Nigeria.
Okay, so you're talking about resolution. What should be the resolution here? What should be done? How do we solve this matter? There is a pending case in court. He still took an action to step into the Senate complex. And people are saying that he should have waited for the outcome of the decision in court before doing anything. What is the solution to these political impasse?
From what we hear from the grapevine, it was said, and that political leaders in Lagos are determined, there are so many of them, that the GAC and so many others stakeholders, and that there has been a level of agreement that both the current speaker and the former speaker should step aside so that another candidate can be picked. I totally go for that. They also forget that it was said that the current speaker is from the same senatorial zone with the governor of the state, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. If that is the case, then there is, for equity and fairness, there is need for the speakership to go to another part of the zone of the state. But as in the current form, anybody that tries to impose somebody like Honorable Obasa that has been rejected by majority of his colleagues, it will be a very, very bad for the APC government in Lagos State, because you cannot impose. We're supposed to be there must be a separation of power, and that is what police are. The executive must be different from the legislative arm. The legislative arm must be different from the judiciary. If the legislators with their own wisdom, based on the power that have been given to them by the Constitution, the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria as amended, they should be allowed to pick the leaders within by themselves and run by that. That is what the democracy is all about. But any attempt, for whatever reason, anybody wants to post anybody on the members of the House of Assembly, then there's we have seen what is going on in Rivers State. The people of Rivers will be laughing at Lagos as of now. They'll be laughing and say, look at you, say you are the nation of democracy. Well, it's happening in your state as well. How are you going to handle it? I believe that this issue can be resolved as quickly as possible by the leadership of the APC, because it's more of the APC. The Lagos State House of Assembly, practically close to about 80–90% of the members are from a particular party, which is APC. Okay. I believe that this issue can be resolved as quickly as possible.
Okay, finally, before I let you go, it was removed as Speaker of Lagos State Assembly based on 13 allegations of financial impropriety and misconduct. Shouldn't the public at least be privy to evidence based on these allegations, or would you consider it probably trumped up charges against him?
I agree with you, but let us even take it further. The former speaker went to court to challenge his removal. Why didn't he wait for the court to give a verdict on that before he quickly ran back to the house to take over? Then you know that something is. If you don't believe, you believe that you were erroneously removed as a speaker, and you have gone to court, you have to wait for the court to decide. So why did you need that? We are hearing that still within the realm of speculation, which I don't attend to. We hear, and it has not been confirmed, that the former speaker has gone back to the court through the back door, withdraw that suit. I don't know how true it is. But if you believe in the judiciary and you believe that you are going to get the judgment based on what you have canvassed, then the former speaker could as well wait for the court to decide on his removal before taking the laws into, because what he did was yesterday was taking the law into his hand. If the other members have done the way he did, then there have been breakdown of law and order in the assembly yesterday, and by now we don't know what would have happened, which is why I still calling on the powers that be, both the APC at the national level and the state level, be able to come together and make sure that this issue is resolved as quickly as possible. It is not only APC members that are going to suffer. All of us that live in Lagos, all of us that stakeholders in Lagos have one thing or the other. We are all stakeholders in this state. And Lagos is not just about APC. It is about a government that has been elected by the majority of Nigerians, because it was not only APC members that voted for, even the members of the Legislative Assembly. They are Nigerians from all walks of life, from all tribes, and they are stakeholders on this issue, and they must be carried along and make sure that what is happening now is nipped in the bud, and the governance return to Lagos State as a state, so that we can move forward.
Well, the Lagos CPI says that calm has been restored, so let's take his word for it. Thank you so much, Chris Nwadu, for sharing your thoughts with us on this, on the news.
You know, those of us that read law, we are very cautious in most of these things that people say because there is more than you see. Have a wonderful day, bro.
And you too. Thank you. Well, staying with legislative matters, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has called for live broadcast of sessions during a probe that will look into her conduct when she fell out with Senate President Godswill Akpabio over sitting arrangements at the Senate. The Kogi Central lawmaker, in a post across social media platforms on Thursday, declared that Nigerians have a right to witness the process. She was referred to the Senate Ethics and Disciplinary Committee following her face-off with Senate President Godswill Akpabio over a seating arrangement. Akpoti-Uduaghan said she was ready to face the panel but would not allow the matter to be handled behind closed doors. The PDP lawmaker said she refrained from speaking publicly on the issue and other developments in the Senate, but had now decided to break her silence. Thanks for staying with us. Let's tell you that the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has petitioned the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, urging her to direct the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Soho, to reassign his case to another judge with proper jurisdiction. In the letter to the CJN, Kanu's legal team, led by Aloy Ejimako, argued that Justice Binta Nyako, who is currently presiding over the case, had already recused herself following Kanu's allegations of bias. Kanu is facing 7 counts of terrorism-related charges brought against him by the federal government. Ejimako argued that legal principles dictates that once a judge recuses themselves, they are disqualified from further involvement in the case. He urged the CJN's administrative intervention to ensure that the case is reassigned. In another development, 2 police officers attached to the Plateau State Police Command were reportedly killed following a foiled kidnap attempt in the state. Correspondent Chizoba Nyonwe reports that the Plateau State Police Public Relations Officer Alfred Alabo said the incident occurred in Little Rayfield area of Jos after a tip-off as part of their constitutional responsibilities in ensuring the safety of both lives and property in the state. Alabo added that while 4 suspects have been arrested in connection with the incident, efforts are ongoing in ensuring that the rifle carted away by the assailant kidnapped suspects are recovered.
Our personnel got wind of certain kidnap attempt along Little Rayfield area and took the right step of trying to forestall that attack and, if possible, arrest the suspect. During the process, the assailant got wind of the fact that the men who were coming are policemen trying to stop their vehicle, and they attacked. A gunfire ensued, and as a result, we lost 2 of our men, and a rifle was carted away in the process. No criminal have a superior training more than us, but you also see that our officers, they did gallantly by showing that they will go at all lengths, even though it has to cost them their life sometimes to protect Nigerians, and that was what happened.
Now, away from that, 2 months after the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control sealed a section of the cemetery market in Abba over counterfeit products, the traders whose shops were affected by the actions are even a sigh of relief. This follows the unsealing of the shops by the regulatory agency. New Central's Chino Ogile visited the market to have a feel of its business activities in the affected areas since it was shut down on December 16, 2024.
These are traders who deal in sale of sacks and other items at the same location where the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control sealed off in December 2024. The traders are in the market for the first time in 2 months after the regulatory agency announced relaxation of the ceiling.
We have reached an agreement to reopen, and I want to make this clear. Clearly, the people who have nothing to do with NAFDAC products. You people have tried your government, and your government is a listening government. And what the government have done is to intervene on the behalf of people who are law-abiding citizens, who knows nothing about this and who have been suffering.
The leadership of the market and the traders in this section are assuring that henceforth such illegal businesses will no longer be tolerated in their domain.
So ya nu ba obiko ebe buru gobere yesi da ga ebe kwanu nkwa ya owo na asi ya ro owo na si eleri but o gi maka ha de ma ige me gi me anwu ai tara ya da ata ya oso so e mara kwara ihe de mma ya
and I don't think na such a thing is going to happen in my house. So I get card no me igba mbo ni na nwere ke igba ehụ na ndị anyara ya ohere na.
In 2 months, the confiscated and destroyed products have become worse, with a stench that enveloped the area as the market committee clears the waste.
We will do everything humanly possible to make sure like we can do again. This morning, we created a security task force from one shop to another to make sure that even a single in the Allah here again. All you were saying there today, only the whole thing, they not here, no. Man, they not outside, man, they not inside the shops.
The traders are grateful that the state government and regulatory agency see reasons to allow people with legitimate businesses return to the market.
Now, I don't know when you are going to I don't know when you are going on a main road, but in I get the chance before 1 week.
The ability of the traders to report anyone found engaging in production of fake and substandard products will determine how successful the fight against such food items will be in the state. In Omahia for News Central.
Let's now head to Abia State, where the Julius Abure-led Labour Party in the state says the House of Assembly member representing Isialangwa South State constituency on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, Roland Dennis, is yet to be received by the state chairman of the party. In a press statement signed by the acting publicity secretary of the Labour Party in the state, Chuks Igiono, the party distanced itself from Emmanuel Oti, saying the only recognized state chairman is Prince Ndubweze by the Abure-led executive. The statement further says Emmanuel Oti is not a member of the Labour Party and accuses him of allegedly deceiving their members into joining the Zenith Labour Party on the eve of the local government election in 2024. To the north now. The Kano State government has inaugurated a 7-man investigative committee to respond to a statewide outcry by civil servants in the state, alleging deductions from their salaries without reason. This was as the governor, Abba Kabir Yusuf, directed a thorough audit of the state's payroll from October 2024 to February 2025 to identify workers affected. The 7-member committee, chaired by the Commissioner for Rural and Community Development and the immediate past State Accountant General, is expected to investigate complaints made by civil servants and find out if government officials are culpable. Now, President Bola Tinubu has pledged his commitment to ensure that reliable telecommunication services are available to all Nigerians. This was as he met investors in the telecommunications and digital sector at the State House in Abuja. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, who was at the meeting, says that President Tinubu aims to strengthen the sector and leverage its contributions to the nation's economy.
The conversation today has been about how do we help strengthen the telecommunications sector so that Airtel can continue to invest in that sector. That's what we would like to see. We want to see a situation where at the minute telecommunication services is available to up to 92% of our people. This government would like to ensure that we take that to nearly 100%, at least 98%, if not 100%. And for that to happen, government recognize that the private sector is a major part of that journey. And that's why we're happy to have Airtel with us today in the country and at the status as well.
There are moments in life when you get leadership like President Tinubu or Prime Minister Modi. They shape the destiny of the country by taking some very tough, hard decisions, but important and very, very valuable decisions for their country and their citizens. I think that's exactly where Nigeria is placed today. I feel very fortunate that we are here during the times of President Tinubu to give wings to his dreams by our own contribution in the digital and financial inclusion space.
But I'll tell you that South Africa's Finance Minister, Inaugurated, has warned that any tariffs imposed by the United States on African countries would have a devastating economic impact. Speaking in Cape Town at the conclusion of a two-day meeting of finance ministers and central bank governors from the world's leading economies, Godongwane expressed deep concern over the potential effects of such tariffs. He emphasized that in the current fiscal environment, the possibility of the U.S. imposing trade restrictions on South African exports poses a serious economic threat. The minister's remarks come amid growing uncertainty over global trade relations, with analysts warning that increased tariffs could further strain economic stability in South Africa and across the continent.
Any tariff imposed by the USA on any of the African countries would have devastating effects. It should be of concern, but it was not discussed. What I do know that I'm told, I was in a meeting that they've done something against Europe. It's not yet finalized. We've been given 90 days, but the amount is substantially high. Yeah. So one should always be high. The amount I'm told is about 8.8 billion rand. So of course it's a worrying situation in the current fiscal environment.
Away from that to the DR Congo crisis, the leader of the Rwanda-backed M23 group, Colonel Nanga, has called for calm in Bukavu, Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, following two deadly explosions that claimed at least 11 lives during a meeting of the movement. Speaking to journalists, Nanga vowed that those responsible would face consequences. Meanwhile, President Felix Tshisekedi has condemned the attack, describing it as a heinous terrorist act. The explosions come amid escalating violence in eastern DRC, where M23 fighters have seized large territories in recent weeks, engaging in intense battles with the Congolese army. Away from that, former Senegalese President Macky Sall has dismissed criticism stemming from an independent audit of official accounts under his administration, calling it a political trial. Speaking to journalists, Sall insisted he has no fear of legal proceedings despite a damning court of audit report on the country's finances, findings that have actually shown that Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko's government has described this as catastrophic. On February 13, the Sonko-led administration announced possible legal action against those implicated in serious failings after the report revealed mismanagement and potential criminal offenses. The audit invalidated official figures from Sall's tenure, revising public debt to 99.67% of gross domestic products, far higher than previously reported, and recalculating the 2023 budget deficit at 12.3%, up from the stated 4.9%. The report also uncovered significant off-the-books spending, raising concerns over financial transparency. Outside of Africa, we tell you that U.S. President Donald Trump has called for a swift peace deal between Ukraine and Russia, warning that failure to reach an agreement soon could result in missed opportunities. This came during a joint press conference as British Prime Minister Keir Starmer visited the White House for talks with Trump on Thursday. Trump noted that negotiations were progressing rapidly, but stressed that a resolution must happen quickly, or it may not happen at all. Meanwhile, Starmer warned against any peace agreements that might reward Russia's aggression, asserting that the international community must be cautious not to empower regimes like Russia and Iran. He emphasized that any deal must secure a lasting peace that does not allow aggressors to benefit. The meeting underscored the delicate balance of diplomacy and the urgency surrounding the ongoing conflict in Ukraine.
To get that war brought to an end, I think we've made a lot of progress, and I think it's moving along pretty rapidly. And I want to thank all of the people that are here that have been working on it. And we'll let you know what happens. It'll either be fairly soon or it won't be at all.
There's a famous slogan in the United Kingdom from after the Second World War. That is that we have to win the peace. And that's what we must do now. Because it can't be peace that rewards the aggressor or that gives encouragement to regimes like Iran.
Away from America to Europe, President Emmanuel Macron has called for Europeans to reject what he called a happy vacillation to the United States. He said this during a two-day state visit to Portugal, where he urged Europe to remain united with the U.S. despite geopolitical uncertainties and potential disruptions caused by shifting U.S. policies, including tariffs. While acknowledging the need for a balance between maintaining close ties with the U.S., he also stressed facing the reality of economic and political challenges. Macron further emphasized Europe's need to defend its principles and future ambitions. He highlighted the importance of investing in technological solutions and embracing risks to secure Europe's economic sovereignty and global standing.
Au moment où les États-Unis sont dans un grand changement, qu'est-ce qu'on doit faire? On doit les garder près de nous, parce que je pense qu'il faut pas, on n'a pas besoin de division. Mais on va devoir vivre avec de l'incertitude. C'est ça la réalité. Parce que les choix que les Américains sont en train de faire, en tout cas cette administration, elle va produire de l'incertitude. Géopolitique, mais aussi économique. On a tous entendu ce qui allait se passer sur les tarifs. Et donc, qu'est-ce qu'on doit faire face à l'incertitude? Agir. Et donc, je pense que la réponse, elle n'est pas dans une soumission. Moi, je ne suis pas pour la vassalisation heureuse. Il y a un choix. Je vois plein de gens dans notre Europe dire on va devoir être gentil avec les Américains, ça va passer, il faut courber les chines, il faut être poli, mais il faut défendre ce que nous sommes. Et notre avenir n'est pas dans la vassalisation heureuse, il est dans la défense respectueuse de nos principes, de notre histoire, mais dans une volonté ambitieuse d'aller plus loin.
Talking business now, Nigeria's overall inflation rate has declined by 10%, which is seen as a positive sign. However, food prices continue to soar, straining consumers' purchasing power. Despite government interventions, Nigerians still pay more for essential items such as bread, cassava flour, meat, fish, rice, and vegetables. A persistent concern impacting the well-being of the population, especially low-income groups. On Business Edge, there were talks and discussions with Felicia Awolope, investment research analyst at Meristem Securities Limited, about a perspective on the government's interventions to address the high inflation rates in Nigeria.
Really a last-minute result to bring down inflation. It's a long overdue exercise that should have been, taken. Rebasing is supposed to be done every 10 years, and the last time rebasing was done was over a decade, so I would say it was long overdue, even though one of the results or one of the outcomes of this rebasing was a reduction or a new inflation level, really. That's just the best way to put it. But looking at government initiatives, to drive increased production of food, since food has been a major, contributor to inflation. If you look at the previous methodology, the food basket or the food component had 51%. And that meant that, governments, we've seen the federal government come up with different initiatives, signed different memoranda, the all year round planning program where the government wanted to be able to achieve, all year round supply of staples like wheat, like rice, just to make sure that food production is increased, and that's able to contribute to increased supply, which has been, the supply deficit has been a major driver in the inflation figures that we've been seeing, the increase in price levels that we've been seeing. And, typically what we've seen is that there's always a lag between when policies are made, between when policies are implemented or enacted, and when we begin to see gains from these policies, we're yet to see substantial gains, substantial harvest. And of course, if you look at it, it's the agri sector. Even when these policies are enacted, It takes time to start preparing farmlands and all that. So yeah, we're yet to see significant gains from these, initiatives here, but we've seen such initiatives.
In sports, Nigeria's Quadri Arena settled for silver at the 2025 ITTF Africa Cup after a hard-fought 4-3 defeat to Egypt's Omar Assad in the men's singles final in Tunisia. The thrilling contest saw both stars push each other to the limit, with Assad eventually emerging victorious. In the women's singles, Egypt's Hannah Goda reclaimed the title by defeating compatriot Dina Meshrev 4-2. The tournament featured 50 players from 15 African countries and also served as a qualifier for the 2025 ITTF World Cup. Despite missing out on gold, Aruna remains one of Africa's top table tennis players, reinforcing Nigeria's strong presence in the sport. Rivers Angels demands apology from Adamawa Queen's technical advisor Dadeno Herman over allegations of referee bias in their 6-0 Nigeria Women Football League victory on Wednesday. The Pawtucket-based club dismissed Herman's claims that the referees favored them, labeling the accusations baseless and an attempt to divert attention from the game's outcome. Rivers Angels also urged the NWFL to investigate the remarks and take appropriate action. The former champions, who currently top Group B with 17 points, emphasized their commitment to fair play and insisted they would not allow their reputation to be tarnished by unfounded claims. And that's all on the news. But before we go, let's look at our major stories again. We told you that there were fresh twists to the Lagos Assembly crisis as ousted Speaker Mudashiru Obasa stormed the Assembly complex, insisting he remains the Speaker. Nnamdi Kano seeks intervention of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Kekere, to reassign his case after recusal of Justice Binta Nyako. South Africa has warned of devastating economic impact of U.S. trade tariffs on nations. Do watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times 274, Marvel TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onobanjo.